Is I call this To Allen. She call this To Allen with love. You have to get the hint, okay? To Allen with love.
Is that a James Bond reference?
Creation, a Kickstarter game. It's going Alpha 1 beginning in May.
Yay! Dad, you must be so happy.
I am, because first off, it's actually going somewhere because of all that Kickstarter talk we had one time.
Right.
Especially considering Chronicles of Elyria was just flushed down the toilet and canceled.
There's news about that though, but we'll get to it later.
Okay, well that can be your Zaziel notes. Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's done with our dailies. Okay, you always gotta do your dailies because that's where you get extra SP, get crafting rewards, whatnot. You know, they're called writs in ESO, especially when it comes to crafting. So that comes an escort quest because guess what? Our favorite non-game, our favorite fully funded, even more funded beyond any other funding than anyone ever needed, non-game Star Citizen got another 17 million. If you haven't been watching Solomon's Whiskey and RPGs, you would not know about this because if you were watching it, you would know. And considering the fact that you two, I did not, fund this game, and I'm going to touch it to Solomon first, right? 17 million. Does this mean then they'll finish it faster, get it done, get it out there, or are you just going to be adding more ships and more ships and more ships and more ships?
I'm hoping Robert's learned his lesson and stopped with the feature creeping, but I have a sneaky suspicion that's not the case. No, but like I said last time we talked about the game, the persistent world version of Star Citizen is, they said in a roadmap discussion I think a month ago, is scheduled to come out. It's still on track according to their roadmap that they have, but it was Squadron 42 that was kind of lagging behind. But that's, I mean, if we get both, that's fine. But again, the meat, like the main course of the game, is the persistent world, right? And if they get more funding, and I'm hoping more funding means that they will be able to roll this out sooner. I doubt it, but because considering, all the things that we've heard from various other people who used to work for Cloud Imperium Games saying that, he's, Roberts is such a perfectionist. He's such a, he micromanages everything, and that just hinders the progress of the game. Again, take that with a grain of salt. I don't have any evidence to doubt what they say isn't true. So, considering the evidence that we have, considering what's been going on with the game being in development since like 2011 or 13 or some odd number year. And so, my only concern is that it was originally a crowdfunding game, and now they're getting private funding from investors. I don't know if venture capitalists or whoever they are. And, you mix in with the crowdfunding with that. And so it's like, when you solely crowdfund the game, your allegiance is to the fans that actually gave you the money. But now in his case, you have both fans and private investors. So it's just like this whole entanglement of like who gets priority, if there is a priority. Like are they making this game like for shareholders now or something? And it's just like, well, that might be true, but you also have people who aren't shareholders that just want the game, and it's just, I feel like this is like a love triangle on on cocaine, and I don't want to think too hard on it because it just makes me so depressed a little bit.
Right. Yeah. About you, Sir Jaziel?
I'm really happy. I've got two sides to the same coin here with my answer. I'm really happy to see them get a nice little bump financially to keep it going, and to I don't know, man. Yeah, that's where I hit the wall of the coin and go to the other side. Because you're going to please whoever's currently giving you the financial backing. And unfortunately, us Kickstarters are now in the past, and some of us way in the past. And
that's true.
Whoever's giving them the money right now is going to get the attention. They're the ones that got the honey-tipped fingers. And it could be good, it could be bad. I'm hoping it's good. I don't believe at all that it's going to speed things up.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to keep things going, which is great.
That's true.
But think they've got a roadmap that they've shared with us that they're keeping to, and it seems like they're putting along right now pretty well. So, like I said, it does scare me a little bit, but we'll see. I'm still excited for it,
Yeah.
cautiously.
17 million. I mean, you're right. It's a lot of money, and maybe
It
someone, if
is.
it is like angel investors, then they see something we may not know. They must have not put their money into it. Can't remember that Anderson Horowitz was putting money into Roblox. Okay, I mean, it's
That's
like,
true.
why would you put money into a game or a company you thought was not going to ever deliver? So they must have seen something that made them feel better. So maybe this is a positive thing. Getting extra money means that they will finish it and it'll be good.
That's true.
They're gonna want to see a return of that money rather
Absolutely.
quickly, and the easiest way to get a return quickly is to do microtransactions. That's kind of what I was alluding to, being afraid of.
Yeah.
Well,
All
the
right. We have
company does
escorted
need
stars.
to sustain itself, right? So, I mean,
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
Well,
you
there'll
know,
be a
it's-
Yeah,
sub, won't there?
absolutely.
that's true.
All right.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have escorted Star Citizen along its way. Okay. We accomplished the task of bringing it to a spot. Of course, Alan comes in late and misses my To Alan with Love segment.
You did that last week
Some
too.
of our delivery quests. And by the way, Godfuzz, this isn't WoW, but hey, will there be any news about WoW? You got to wait and see. All right, the delivery quest case. Now, I thought it was interesting watching Solomon's Whiskey RPG, sorry, Starborne, Space MMORTS is go for open beta. I mean, this looked really intriguing. I've always been interested in playing a MMORTS. I've kickstarted a game in the past like this, but never happened. That's one of the reasons why I thought about the idea of Star Citizen, never funded, or even other games. So, I mean, you mentioned this, Solomon. Um, are you going to play this game? Is this like, I mean, what more can you add to this discussion? I guess.
Yeah, so the reason why I really want to play it, well, for one, it's super different. The only MMORTS that I know of is Kingdom Under Fire 2, and it seems to be doing pretty well. Not as much as I think people anticipated, but still doing enough to keep the servers up. I believe. But this specifically because it involves sci-fi spaceships and stuff like that, unlike Kingdom Under Fire 2. And as I mentioned in the episode that I posted yesterday, it reminds me a lot of an RTS called Sins of a Solar Empire that came out like 10 years ago, and I remember playing that for like years and years and years. I had so much fun, probably even much more fun than Age of Empires 2, and Age of Empires 2 is like one of the best RTSs in my opinion. And a lot of, like, say for example, there's more than one way to win a round or fight or whatever they call it. You could either take I guess the most resources or the biggest empire, or create a Dyson sphere and stuff like that, which is really cool. So it gives you a lot of options, a lot of ways to play your empire the way you want to play it. And not only that, it plays very similarly to survival games where you have cycles of periods that we talked about a few times ago. And I believe each play cycle is 10 weeks long, and some modes of the game requires you to save up your resources and go at it. Not the domination mode, but the other mode I can't remember off the top of my head, where after 6 weeks of saving all your resources and building up your army, it's just time to let loose on the 6th week, and who's ever on top by the 10th week is declared the winner. So I'm really curious as to how that plays out, like what kind of, how do you level, like when you gather resources, what do you save, what is included at the end of every 10 rounds, because again, this is the kind of play style that I'm not very familiar with, and Sir Jaziel probably could tell you more about it, because again, it plays very similarly to a survival game, if anything else.
Yeah. So, Jaziel, what are your thoughts about this game?
I again, I'm kind of echoing here that it's just such a unique game, and we discussed it a few weeks back that we would really like to see more sci-fi integrated with MMOs, and so it's right up my alley. I definitely am going to give it a try. It does sound like a game that you really are going to need to invest a lot of time and energy into.
Like
And
Eve.
with New World coming out, renewed interest in playing for us, and playing ESO and all, it's like, am I really going to have enough time
Yeah.
to devote to it? Because it does.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, it does sound like Starbound. I'm talking about, sounds like a game that you really need to make it a full-time game, but it does sound like a lot of fun.
Starborne. Starbound is a fun game.
Starborne.
It's like a Minecraft type of game, but Starbound's good too. But yeah,
I'm
Starbound.
sorry.
No
I
problem.
misspoke there. Sorry.
All right, and I echo all you guys. I mean, like I've always been loving. I want a Star Wars, a Star or space type of game like these things, but they haven't been done. I mean, that's why I was really hoping that No Man's Sky. I know it's gotten better. Was going to be that game. I didn't do it, and I'm still hesitant. But okay. Anyways, Fallout 76 for all you lovers out there of Fallout 76, even though they're delayed for the upcoming Wastelanders. But guess what? For all you people who bought, including, as Solomon mentioned, the Lex with the Power Armor helmet, you can now play it free on Steam.
Actually, when I mentioned that, I was thinking of you specifically.
You can at least transfer your account over from where it's at on Bethesda's launcher to Steam, where that's where, after all, where your Fallout 4 is at. That's fine. It's a little shout out. Thank goodness they wasn't going to pay if you pay for it. Because my ESO account is not on Steam. It's on the ESO launcher. I don't know if I can put it on Steam. I'm going to buy it there. But anyways, guys, have any comments about Fallout 76 going free on Steam for those who bought it?
Not particularly.
All right.
I think it's a great thing for everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
say about it.
It's kind of shocking. I mean, because Bethesda's been on a
long way to go.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I mean, Bethesda's been in the can, so to speak, for such a long time now. So
they got a long way to go to bring them back, And they both, by the way, are not having they're not going to have an electronic version of E3, so forget that.
Oh yeah,
all right,
that's right.
We're now going to go to Sir Jaziel notes, where he gets a chance to just talk whatever he wants about things he wants to talk about.
Okay, so we talked about Chronicles of Elyria being canceled. However, over the past week, several devs have gone to Twitter to state that on their off time, they're going to continue working on the game.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
So I just got lucky that I was following one of them just by chance to see that. And then he mentioned a couple of others that are with him that are going to continue working on the game. I first saw it on April 1st and thought it was an April Fool's joke. And so I waited till April 2nd to go check out the other devs. And lo and behold, it's looks to be true that they are going to continue working on it. Now, I don't know how they're going to pull this one off, but it makes me giggle on the inside pretty heartily, and with excitement that we might actually get to see the game. So
awesome.
So there's a little bit of excitement there. And then just the other thing, there's not much other exciting news this week other than what was already on the notes. But I wanted to state that one, and then also that right now until I believe it's April 13th, if you want to try Elder Scrolls Online out, you can actually play it for free until the 13th of April through Steam. So that's a good opportunity to go in there and give it a try, see if you like it or not, and come play with Kenneth and I. Maybe we can even get Solomon to try it out. Who knows?
That's right.
We'll see.
But I know there's a couple people that downloaded it the past couple of days and are supposed to be getting on and giving it a whirl. But if you're at all interested, I mean, no money down and give it a try. See if you like it before
Yep.
you buy it. You know,
There you go. If only
Yeah.
they had a mech type of thing in ESO, then Solomon would be there.
I probably would. I mean, no, I would.
There's Clockwork City with all the steampunk kind of stuff.
But can you get in one though?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Then it's
Yeah,
not
see,
the
I
same.
have a quest to go there, but I haven't actually gone there yet.
I really hope the
Solomon,
devs. I hope they're not kicking a dead horse.
Yeah, I know. That's the only fear. I'm gonna put some effort into it, but then it's like that. We still had 2 years to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Solomon, any notes you've got?
The only thing that I could really think of is the Ascent Infinite Realm game is now changed to Elyon. And as I stated before, the only reason why I'm super interested in this game is because it's a steampunk genre MMO. And to my knowledge, I think there's like maybe one or two like that in the market right now, but I don't even know the names of it because they're just so low budget indie titles. And so to finally get a AAA company working on a steampunk genre MMORPG, I think is pretty epic. It's pretty awesome. I can't wait for it. And as we stated earlier, there's actually big mechas in the steampunk genre MMORPG too, which I'm doubly excited about. It looks like it's like a siege engine mechanic of some sort, but you do drive a big mecha, but it's very steampunk style. And I just think that's just so freaking awesome because I'm such a huge fan of both genres. And so one thing, gone are the days of tab targeting. They got rid of that, which I think is awesome. That's not to say, again, this is something I mentioned earlier. I don't have anything against tab targeting per se, but it just feels very dated to me. It's a very old mechanic that works for a few games out there, but if you want to be very modern about your game, I think you have to go full action RPG style, like
Right.
Terra and Black Desert Online. They got rid of a lot of flight mechanics, unfortunately. But some people say fortunately because a lot of people who played the beta tests last year said it was very clunky. It didn't feel like a whole lot of weight to them. I would argue it's probably because it was tab targeting, but I never played the beta, so who knows. So there'll probably be some aerial combat, but just not as prevalent as much anymore. What else? Like they're just completely revamping just everything else. Again, they still retain. They're still using the same graphic engines, I believe, which is the Unreal Engine 4, I believe. Don't quote me on that, and also again, I'm just super happy they kept this steampunk looking aesthetic to it as well.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I mean, yeah. Not Solomon. Alan's asking, where is Steel Battalion MMO?
That'd be
No
cool.
idea what you're saying.
So Steel Battalion is a mecha game that came out for the original Xbox, but it was like $200 because it came with like this console, like this like cockpit with buttons and different levers and stuff like that, as if it was like a full robot simulator, and it was really cool. Obviously, I never got it because it was too expensive. Like $200 back then is probably like what $300, $400 in today's money.
Yeah.
And so so that's why a lot of mech fans remember that because of the gimmick of the cockpit, which I still haven't played to this day. It's still something that that is on my bucket list. But yeah, it'd be really cool if there was an MMO like that. I think the closest thing that we're gonna get in terms of any sort of cockpit simulator MMO is probably going to be Elite Dangerous, in my opinion, because it's VR. What do you say? Like you play VR in that game, and I know I'm a mod actually for a Roman Catholic priest actually who plays that game, and he's full immersion, like the VR, and you see what he sees, and he's piloting. He has the HOTAS system and the voice activation too, like and everything, and so he's fully immersed in the dangerous Elite Dangerous universe, and it looks really fun.
Wow.
It looks super expensive, and so if you want to, if that's sort of your sort of cup of tea, then I think Elite Dangerous is going to be the closest thing to Steel Battalion MMO, if you will.
Yeah, Alan was noting it had 200 buttons,
Yeah.
foot pedals and joysticks.
Yep.
His cousin had it.
Oh,
And we could never
really?
get, and he said we could never get the mech started. We kept blowing ourselves up.
Yeah, man. It's supposed to be a simulator. Yeah.
All right, little side. It's not quite MMO-ish new, but The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed.
Yep.
It was announced on Hear Me Out the fact that it's been delayed because of COVID, but I've been hearing that may not be the reason. It's a cover-up or a covering story to the fact that like 2/3 or 3/4 of their devs quit and left.
Wait, at
being
Naughty Dog?
overworked. I'm just rumor that I heard, right? So don't quote me, but that's what I heard. Yeah. So for Last of Us Part 2. All right. Anyway, so storyline quest. So we finished that one,
that's
right?
weird.
So now this is where we're getting to asking, the panel here some thoughts about MMOs RPG. After all, we are lovers of MMOs RPGs, and we don't mind talking about different things. Okay, so this one is kind of a way back machine in some respects, more so for now. Mind you, even though I'm older than Sir Jazio, this is more of a way back machine for him than for me. Okay, I think he's been playing MMOs longer than I have. Okay, what was your first MMO that you ever played? Do you still play it? And is it even still around today? I'll go with Sir Jazio because I think he's been playing MMOs longer than I have. What is your first MMO? Are you still playing it? And is it still around?
It was Pong Online.
I did play the original Pong. The little black box with the wheel on top that you would swivel.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so yes, I know that was a joke, but no, you're right.
Yep.
Wow.
And I played the version where you had the template that you would put on your television set. So my first MMO RPG was Meridian 59.
Okay.
But I mean that was kind of text based. It was there, it was graphics and everything, and I remember going and picking up a Voodoo graphics card to play it, which those aren't around anymore. I haven't played Meridian 59 in some time. It is still around. There are still
96. Really?
Yeah, there's still lots of people that play it, from what I hear. And I've gone to the website and seen there's a lot of people playing, but no, I don't really. I every once in a while I get the itch to go back and just relive it for maybe just a couple of hours or something. But man, those back then MMOs were serious business. Like it took a lot of work. And it was really difficult. But the one that I have gone back and replayed a little bit, it was actually the second MMO that I got into after Meridian 59. 1999, I started playing EverQuest.
EverQuest,
And,
okay.
Yeah, and that's the one that every once in a while I go back and just, I'll play it for 2 or 3 hours, and then usually it's like another year. I'll go back, play another 2 or 3 hours, and then it's back to a modern. But yeah, Meridian 59 was the first one, and there's a lot of good memories there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that. I don't remember. That does not even. I didn't know that was just. I did not know that existed. So that's good to know.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed either.
All right. Before I go to Solomon, Alan says his first was RuneScape, and Shadeless, formerly known as the Calvinist, played the Forthcoming.
Never even heard of the Forthcoming.
But Solomon, what was your first one? Are you still playing it, and is it even still around?
Okay, so we're gonna what's the term? Play with semantics or definitions here. Okay, so I guess it's not really an MMO. I wouldn't really consider it an MMO. More of a co-op sort of RPG than it is an MMO. But technically, I guess my first MMO was the first Guild Wars game. And the reason why I'm not really saying it's an MMO, it's because the only persistent world that existed in that game was in the main hubs, in the main cities, right? And so for me, again, if you're going to be nitpicky about definitions, I think one of the defining factors of an MMORPG is having a persistent world with a large number of people. We're talking 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 even, if you can. So I guess you could say my first online game, or online RPG, or whatever you want to call it, would be Guild Wars, the first Guild Wars. But in terms of the first like MMORPG, that in a traditional sense of the definition, I think it might have been Aeon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, it's MMORPG.
Yeah. So it fits the definition of an MMO, and at least in terms of my standards, having a persistent world, having thousands of players actively at the same place, not the same place. I'm sorry, same server. I think it's Aeon, but I'd have to do some memory digging to see if that's really the case.
Okay.
It might have, because I know I dabbled in other MMOs too, like City of Heroes and City of Villains. But I didn't really play those extensively. I may have played it like only like a month or two, and so technically maybe those were my first MMOs that I've ever played technically, but the one that's most memorable for me is first Guild Wars and then Aeon Online.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the reason why I said, sorry, even though I'm older than Sir Jazio, I know he's been gaming on MMOs longer than I have. I've been gaming since like late 80s, okay, but I wasn't doing MMOs. My first MMO, I always tell the story. My wife, we always go to Costco to get games, and I remember coming home one day from work. She was like, "I can't get this game to work." It was called Dark Age of Camelot, and I started looking at the box. I go, "It requires being online." Dial up. Oh my word. Okay, so we plugged it in. One line, didn't have the call waiting type thing, so I dial it up. Logged in, went to the Hibernian race, made a little elf, called it David Solomon, couldn't think of anything unique to call it, and subsequently got stuck in the door and didn't know about /stuck or /stick. Okay, so I quit. Okay, so that was my foray. And what's interesting is that that game still exists, even though Mythic became EA and EA sold Camelot to other company, right? It still exists. And my son even mentioned it a couple weeks ago, talking with my oldest daughter's boyfriend, saying, "Hey guys, you want to free to play? You want to go check out Dark Age of Camelot and do memory lane trips?" So I don't play it. I went one time myself personally to it to see. I made an Albion character like I did. I ran around Salisbury Plain. I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to go deep dive it, So Alan's wondering, does GoldenEye on the N64
no
count if your friends weigh over 400 pounds? I'm thinking like, wait a minute, massively. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know what to say about if your friends weigh over 400 pounds, okay? But massively doesn't count, okay? So, that was one of those things that memory lane. I thought about putting together. I started putting together a spreadsheet. Yes, I have a spreadsheet.
Well, you are an engineer, so
I know it's true, but write down all the games that I have played because I wanted to remember all these games. There's a ton of them, good and bad. I mean, it's back in the day before you started doing more online buying of your games. You had to buy the box set. So I have a museum, so to speak, of all the boxes of all the games I bought over the years. So I don't know. It was one of the things that kind of popped my mind, thinking, "What was your first MMO?" And I said, I personally thought Jazio was going to say EverQuest. Meridian, he mentioned before. I had not thought about that game, and I'd never heard of it. So
I thought he was going to say Ultima, personally.
Or Ultima. Yeah, good point. Yeah. Go Ultima Online. Yeah,
I played Ultima, but it was after I had started EverQuest.
Oh, I see. Because they came around. Yeah. They came out around the same time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Before we get on to our next quest, okay, which is our class quest, we want to announce the world event. Yes, most of them must have world events. Our world event is going to be New World by Amazon Games, assuming hopefully it doesn't go crap. Okay, but anyways, we plan on doing a pre-launch party The actual times are not quite solid, but right now, 9 p.m. Pacific time, May 26th. The launch is supposed to be at midnight. We're going to get in. We're going to talk about stuff. Get all of our friends and our rowdy friends get together and just talk about the new world. We hope to see get launched out. I know one of the guys, the Steampunk Gaming, is already planning on taking some days off. Now that I'm not going on these different trips, I have extra vacation days now. So that's not a bad idea. End of May, I'm taking time off. Let's play some New World. Join us, okay? May 26th. Watch us. Watch the Whiskey MMO and RPG folks. Do this. Bring your beverage of choice. If you drink, it's fine. If you don't drink, it's fine too. And we'll be in Discord or whatever it is, and we'll just get running and we'll have fun and just have a blast, okay? So that's the World event. Don't forget, it's there. They happen. If you miss it, then you lose out on all the loot. Wait, I'm not saying there's any loot to give out, but okay.
No, I think
right.
it's going to be one of those games where you have to do a mad dash to end game because of the PvP factor. Like, I'm sorry to say, I wish that wasn't the case. I get the negatives of doing a mad dash to end game. I personally don't like it, but I think it's going to be a necessity, unfortunately, with this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Okay, so next up we have our class quest, and this is kind of have to do with maybe it's old school of us, some of us, because we've been around for a long time. I mentioned Dark Age of Camelot. I've been writing down names of people because if you want to get the right cleric, the right healer, the right tank, and right whatever I tanked, okay, but because you go to a Salisbury Plain, you just couldn't solo it. You need to put together a list, okay? The grind was real, okay? You could not. Some guy actually did finally solo from 0 to 50 in Camel to prove it can be done, but otherwise you couldn't. Okay, so to you guys, do you like the grind? I mean, it's easier today to level than ever before. Okay, especially considered early games. But do you guys like the grind? You want the grind back? Solomon, we'll go with you first since you're drinking out of your wonderful little canteen, or
Oh yeah. Do you remember this? I brought this at the TwitchCon. Yeah.
TwitchCon, right?
Don't tread on me. I don't know if you see that. Anyways, well, I think that's kind of a weird question to ask to a Korean. I mean, it's no.
All Koreans like grinding.
Yeah, we all do. We all do it. It's no. It really depends. I'm 50-50. It really depends on the game, because I say that because again, I play Black Desert Online, arguably the second grindiest MMO in the market right now. Or I wouldn't say maybe second. First grindiest game is EVE Online. And in my opinion, I think Black Desert Online is second. I don't know. There's just something about working your butt off for something that you really want and finding the reward in getting it, despite the fact that you probably failed 100 times. For example, like in Black Desert Online, there's a thing called fail stacking. If you don't know what it is, it doesn't really matter. But there's a thing where you have to do the strategy in order to enhance your gear, and you could fail like 100 times before you finally get what you want, and it's just so frustrating. But when it happens, it's like the most rewarding thing ever.
Yeah.
Right. But then I get why grinding sucks, because I wouldn't really want to grind on that kind of level when you're playing, say, like Star Wars The Old Republic. You know what I mean? It's just like I probably wouldn't play Star Wars The Old Republic if it was that grind intensive. So yes, I do like grinding. I think it could be very rewarding. But again, it just depends on which game that you're playing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day when I heard people were actually buying and selling characters. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
Someone's like, yeah, I bought this character. I'm like, wait, you have nothing about the class. You know nothing about the grind and how to get there, right? You ought to be a terrible player, okay? But I also know that if you want to be more appealing to a larger community of people, the grind can be an issue. So, Straziel, I said you've been playing longer than I have. Do you like the grind?
It depends on the game. Again, echoing Solomon. I do. I love the idea of a worthy challenge, and I not just being handed something like it's a mobile game. I well, it's not just mobile games. I've played PC games that are the same way, that seem to just shower you with gifts. Um, I I like working for my items and actually feeling like that reward is a reward. Like you achieve that, gaining that item or that achievement or whatever it is through blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, good
um,
point.
there are some, especially the Korean games, but some Chinese games as well, that I think take it a little too far. Uh, BDO is on the verge of that, I think, for me.
No, it
But
is. It is.
yeah, it is. Solomon's not wrong. It is grindy, and Eve absolutely takes number one spot from what I experienced. I tell you. Um, but at the same time, it really, man, when you see someone that's just decked out in that gear that you're working on, you got to give them some respect and love for knowing the effort that they put into it
Absolutely.
to achieve that.
Yeah.
It was the same way with those like Meridian 59 and EverQuest and WoW Classic. That man, if they had a full set of purples in WoW Classic, if they had their first, or their even the 1.5 tier set or whatever, it was like, I am not worthy. I'm not worthy, because man, you knew
Yeah.
it took months and months and months of going into that dungeon every week, maybe even years for
Mm,
casual players.
yeah.
Um,
Right.
but it really does depend on the game too, because there's
Yeah.
games that I do want to just get to max levels super quick and just do the in game content, because that's where the fun's at, like World of Warcraft. I'm sorry to say that they're leveling up. The quests just feel, maybe it's because I've done them 100 times, but I just don't really enjoy the experience until I'm max level and able to go do
Yeah.
the dungeons and raids and whatnot. Now, Elder Scrolls Online, I'm only level 40, I think. Um, I'm not even max level 50. I'm not getting champion points yet on my main character that I'm playing right now. And I'm just having a blast because the quests are fun. I feel like I'm being rewarded for like the harder and more difficult, the longer the quest line is. I'm getting rewarded better for those than I am for the easy ones, and I feel like that balance has been struck really well to me.
Mm,
So that's where
well
I
said.
sit with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, um, the grind. I mean, it's funny being around for a long time. I remember the grind in Dark Age of Camelot, and I don't remember it being a grind. I remember it being a fun. I
Hmm.
remember just remembering leveling up. Yeah, it was harder. Yes, you had to group up. Yes, there was a grind, but back then there wasn't a counterpoint. Nowadays, like example is Godfather says, "Hey, come back to WoW because right now it's a 100% EXP." You're like, that means there's no grind. You go up right. When League of Legends first came out, I thought, okay, perfect. All you PvP players, you have your character already maxed out,
Mm.
a champion, you go out and just fight. Okay. So to me, the grind again, you said like the game, depending on the game, it will make a difference, right? I'm more apt to say I hate the grind so much because not get the grind. I get the grind. It's the fact that I want to spend my time doing more things with other things. I have so many other things on my plate, other games I want to try. I don't want to spend so much time leveling a character up in WoW Classic. I didn't do it. I didn't hit 50 because I had other games to play. So yeah, the grind is a mixed bag, and I agree with you guys. It does depend on the game. ESO is having fun right now. I'm only level 22. I don't care. I'm having fun.
Hmm.
Having fun. So Alan says it's not the problem with the grind, it's the problem with the min maxing. Efficiency has killed the enjoyment of playing grindy games. What are your
Not
guys' thoughts on that?
not
Questions,
not in
comments?
Black Desert. Not in Black Desert.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, like, okay, ESO and Guild Wars 2, it doesn't matter what level. Like, okay, you're only level 22 and I'm 40. We can still group up and it adjusts to our levels and then adjust the skills, abilities, all that stuff to where we can play together. And it doesn't matter what zone that you go into or what delve or dungeon that you go into, it adjusts to your level. And I think that really just keeps things fresh to you, and it keeps it to where it's just the right amount of challenge. You don't have to fear that you're going to go into some place and get totally just crushed. Oopsie, I didn't realize this was a max level area or whatever, like World of Warcraft used to be. Although they're changing that now, step by step.
Alan, no, it's when there is one best way to do things. There's no discovery or self-choice.
That's true. I understand what he's saying.
And he's right. I mean, I've done that where I've gone into the web and asked, what is the best, whatever it is, talent tree and options to play a character. And it's like, okay, that's the only thing there is. I mean, that's why I like ESO is kind of fun. I can do what I want to do. I always want to do what I want to do. I also know that I'm maybe not being very efficient about it. Alan said, it's just do it this way, the same as everyone else, or you're spending an extra 100 hours doing something different inefficiently.
Well, there are a lot of cookie cutter builds in MMOs. I mean, we do have to admit that most MMOs eventually end up in that mold where if you're not choosing those specific abilities and using those specific spells that you can find on any of the websites online, then you are inefficient and you are going to not be as powerful and not be able to knock down those bosses as quickly or what have you. And unfortunately, it's just something that the devs are constantly chasing, trying to make it to where you actually have a real choice. Because that is one thing about World of Warcraft that I didn't like, was I didn't feel like that there was a real choice in our talents. I felt like you absolutely had to pick specific ones on each tier, or you just sucked. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And people would, especially if you're min-maxing and you're in a progressive rating guild, they're going to ride. They're going to get on your back and they're going to club you with a frying pan over the back of the head. They're why'd you pick that spec is horrible and that ability is horrible on this boss. And ESO, I feel, again, I'm playing it right now, so I'm a little bit biased, but I feel like it's a little bit better with that there are still cookie cutter. You can go to Allcast and find cookie cutter specs, or not specs,
I've done that.
but abilities and what. But they do have a wider range, and I feel like you're not harmed as much if you go and say want to experiment on your own a little bit. I feel like there are other abilities that you can put on your bar that are just as good, as opposed to some of the other MMOs that I've played, where it's like pretty obvious that the cookie cutter version is all that you need to pay attention to.
It's funny because I understand min-maxing, but I always played the game like I wanted to. Yes, I did look up what is the best talent tree, what is the best leveling, or what's the best rotation, but only if I want to make sure I'm being more efficient. But I thought, like, Elder Scrolls Online, good example is that you can play the character you want. I am a red
paladin,
red guard,
Templar, and I'm going all stamina. I know they are out there, and I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And guess what? I may not be the best for rating. I might change if need be, but the whole point of these games is basically trying to play the game you want. Character creation, making you how you want it to look like, the one you want to play with. The whole point of transmogrification is getting the gear you want to look the way you want it to, right? Because it's your character to spec your tree out the way you want it to. So, you can choose not to do that. And if you're not going to be a hardcore raider, so be it. Most people aren't looking at that, so anyway, it doesn't matter.
I think
I think the one that it's not really an MMO though. Path of Exile. I don't know if you. I think you two both played it before,
I've
right?
heard of it.
Or-
I don't think I've played
oh,
it.
I still have it installed, haven't opened it yet.
oh, okay. The abilities that you can select from it when you first open that, it is crazy confusing, and you almost have to go to a website and look. Okay, what are the first ones that I need to start out with while leveling? Because there's just so many, and they stem off of each other. So if you choose the wrong one, you might end up putting points into stuff that's completely useless.
Right.
And yeah, but it's a great game, by the way. But I also reinstalled it and haven't played it since I reinstalled it. But
Some of the older games you couldn't respec, and so you had to be very clear, okay,
oh yeah,
about what you did. Okay?
I think that's awesome,
Now when it
actually.
says, what's that?
I think that's awesome, actually, because too many games, not just MMOs, but too many games in general, has the mentality of giving everybody a trophy, which I don't agree to. I think it's stupid, especially in MMOs. Like Sir Josie was saying earlier, you know, when you see somebody decked out in all epic purple gear, like that, you bow down and say, you know, I'm not worthy, and I missed that. You know, even if I didn't have any of the gear he had, it's just like, wow, that guy definitely knows what he's doing. He's very committed. And that it's very, you know, not commands respect, but you know what I mean. It's like you
Right.
kind of give the guy respect because the amount of dedication that that it takes to get that level of
well,
stuff.
it's like you had a kid in your neighborhood, and maybe you're lower middle income or upper lower income, or you you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and you both get through primary school and finishing school or high school, and then you both go off to college, and you see your friend go to the university and get out, and then he's like like Kenneth, and he's like an engineer, an aero engineer, and you're still working at as a barista at Starbucks, which is cool and needed. Thank you, baristas, for serving my coffee today. um, but it's like you can appreciate that he put those extra
Right.
years into his education. He pushed through. I don't know if Ken grew up poor, but I'm just saying, if we both had grown up in the same neighborhood, and you see them, and the struggle that they went through to pay off those loans that they had to take, that they made it through university, working crummy jobs to help pay rent every month with their 4 other roommates that they cram into a 1-bedroom apartment. They went through all those hard times, and now they've been so successful, and it applies to both real life and in games, that
Yeah.
you can recognize that effort
Agreed.
and that time. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to comment, yeah, but one day you will see that you could have done it better, and it devalues the experience of what you did, especially when you start getting bullied by 12-year-olds who are maxed out. So I disagree with that because
Ugh.
it doesn't necessarily devalue the experience, because I had the experience. I may look back going, I guess I could have done it differently. But then I'm also older. I'm like, I don't care. I want to play the game the way I wanted to play it. If
Mhm.
I choose to start raiding, if I want to get good, and start
Get good.
raiding with the big guys, okay, I'm going to make sure that my gear and my spec, whatever, is the best for raiding. But I'm not going to change the way I level up my character.
Well, I mean, just to look at it from a different perspective, I've always told people, play it how you want to play, which is exactly what Kenton is saying here. Because I feel like you're going to do better in the game, DPS, HPS, whatever you're doing, healing or DPS or tanking, playing it your way and the way that you enjoy playing it. And if you go, whether you want to do it cookie cutter style and go to a website, like for World of Warcraft, it's Icy Veins or Noxic, although most people don't like Noxic, or Altcraft, I think it's called, for ESO, and there's ones for all all of the different MMOs out there. Um, you can go off those cookie cutter things, but if you find that you enjoy going a different route and using different abilities and spells, the fact that you're having so much more fun playing it your way is going to translate or
Yeah.
should translate into you playing that character better and doing more HPS, DPS, whatever it is, handling mitigation better as a tank. Or at least
No,
that's the way I think of it.
no. And funny thing is, you answered Alan's question without even knowing it. But it said if you spend 200 hours and find out you could have spent 20 instead, I will feel pretty dumb, especially if I was trying to achieve a goal versus actually the grind aspect. You already answered that. So he
Right.
said 200 hours of grind is not enjoyable if you are doing it for an item. Yeah, especially considering if you knew it was a faster way to do it, I may agree with that. But my
I,
biggest argument is that if you had fun doing it, what does it matter?
I,
That's fair.
I can compare it to a couple things. I'll go back to World of Warcraft during Burning Crusade. I'm going to go all the way back to Burning Crusade. There was a mount that you could get, and it literally would take a month of doing the dailies every day. So for 31 days, you
Oh
would have
wow,
to every day
every day.
do the dailies for that. And at the end of that, you got a really cool flying mount. And, I had a lot of friends, my friend CEO of Awesome, um, he didn't do it till the next expansion because he was like, "Oh, I can't be bothered with that. That's stupid. I'm not going to put that much time into getting that mount." But to me, it was like a worthy thing to work towards getting that. And two, it was nice having the bragging and being able to hop on it and having him and all my other buddies going, "Oh man, I wish I would have done it with you instead of waiting."
Yeah, true.
It was kind of cool to be able to get on that mount and show it off, and to have it was just something special, knowing that I put that much effort into it and that other people knew that I'd put that much effort into it. Now
Yeah,
you can just go buy the mount. So does that
and
devalue it? No, because
it,
I had fun.
well, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it does
I
value a little bit, but I get your point.
I
I
had
mean,
fun when
you
I
can
did
buy
it.
it now, but back then you couldn't
Yeah,
because you have a claim saying I actually earned this one.
right. And you could
Listen, I'm
only
not.
pick one. There was 5 different colors and you could only pick one, and you couldn't
Mm,
get the other ones. Now you can.
mm.
Now you can go buy all 5 of them. But
So I'm not sure where Alan's coming from, right? But he says, "What if poop tasted like chocolate? Would you eat it? Would you rather
no.
just eat chocolate?" Well, of course, I'd rather just eat chocolate. I'm not sure what this means, okay?
I mean,
But
unless you're pooping out chocolate, then
yeah,
that's cool.
Well, so long as they both taste like chocolate, I mean, what's the difference? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, one's better
I'm
for
kidding.
you than.
Well, to
All right,
play,
Solomon, did you want to add anything to this? Sorry.
yeah, just real quick, just to play devil's advocate, like the way things, like I kind of get what Alan is saying, because there is a part of me that says that there are more efficient ways of playing a game, and I completely agree with everything that you just said. Essentially play the game the way you want to play it, because unless I'm paying for your subscription, there's no reason why you have to play the way I want you to play it, right? But at a certain point, I feel like the way certain games are set up, and maybe this is more on the devs who made the game than it is the community who plays it. But there is going to be times when, if you really want to play hardcore, like, the world shouldn't bend their sort of reality to fit your play style. Like I believe that in the real world, but I also believe that in MMOs too. So at the end of the day, if you want to play hardcore and get to the play at that next level, above casual or whatever you want to call it, I feel like there is a certain responsibility on your end to be able to put out the damage or the the sort of numbers in order to defeat whatever hardcore nightmare mode boss that you are trying to accomplish as well. So I get that argument, but I think it kind of there's also another side of it, if you will, like the same side of the other side of a coin, if you will, to that sort of mentality. Whereas if you do take that next step, understand that okay, it's not about you anymore, it's about the group and what the group needs to accomplish, and you need to for lack of a better term, conform to what's the sort of meta at the time in order to accomplish or achieve the goal that you all set out to be.
Yeah, so sad. So Alan's like, wait a minute, Solomon, you're playing devil's advocate and then you agree with me. Okay.
It's true. Didn't think of it that way.
So he also made a point about it. Says, would you rather walk 20 miles to the store or 2 blocks? I go, exercise. He goes, that's a BS answer. Okay.
Well, you're talking yourself out of gaming right now.
I know. I think that's the difference. You would not go 10 miles out of the way daily, and you would feel stupid if you were going so far out of the way to realize you could have done it much shorter. Yes, in a real life situation, absolutely. But when a game is differently, because good example is maybe not a good example. Gambling is an addiction. People have it. Okay. Now, if you treat it like a entertainment where you're like, I'm going to go to the movie, I'm going to buy 2 tickets for my wife and myself with some popcorn and food, $50, $60, okay? And that's all you take with you going to a casino. It's entertainment. Simple. Give me a story, okay? When you spend all this time in a game and you're spending time, whether it's been maxing or not, and you're finding yourself enjoying it, enjoying just the content. I mean, there are people who still play because there are rogue servers for Star Wars Galaxies because they have their manufacturing going. That seems rather boring, okay? But they enjoy it. They love it. They love the manufacturing. They're not exploring the worlds and going out and doing things, right? They just enjoy being in the game, manufacturing stuff for other people and having fun. Okay.
Well, they even had dancers in that game where you could make money just dancing.
Alan says, no, I'm not talking about grinding games. You guys are all crazy. Oh, that's nice.
I think Alan. Sorry, go ahead.
If you had a goal in a game and knew one way would take 10 hours and one way would take 100, none of you would choose the 100, even if it was a preferred way to do it.
I think Alan. No, I don't agree. I don't disagree with that, but I think there needs to be sort of a balance. I think Alan's focused too much on the destination rather than the journey.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking too, yeah. Mm-hmm. So Sora Oblivion is here, and Sora says, I would argue about that as there are chemical compounds that happen when one gambles in the same video games. Yeah, fair statement. There are people who literally, like, say, alcohol too. Example is that there are people who have much more affinity toward gambling addiction, alcoholic addiction because of the chemical balance, okay? But I would just use it as a reference point. Alan's like, I am focused on the destination because that's what you do when you grind.
If the journey wasn't fun to it, then
that's why
for a goal, not really.
That's why I always would insert Black Desert Online into that sort of argument as the exception, because the destination or whatever the end thing is, whatever you do in Black Desert, the destination is so far, like it is years, like literally years away from your grasp. It's like, might as well enjoy the journey while I try to whatever max out my fishing or cooking or whatever. Like you find creative ways to find enjoyment in the grinding,
right?
So I don't know.
So Sora says also the DSM has a clinical diagnosis with video games and gambling. The technical term is called escapism, and it's a real problem. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not arguing that because I know my life personally was about escapism at one point, and God took away my gaming, restored myself, my life, and gave me back my gaming. So here's an interesting question that Alan asked, was like, what else do you grind for? I'm thinking exercise, losing weight. Okay, there's a journey with no end. It is a journey with no end.
Oh, like in real life? Is that what he's asking?
Yeah, real life. It's a journey of exercising to keep yourself in shape. There is no end. It's a grind. It's a daily grind, okay? Yeah, some people enjoy exercising, get the rush and whatnot, right? But it's a daily grind.
Especially if you look like The Rock. Yeah, I get it.
Mm.
I
But he has
wish.
to daily
Yeah,
grind it
right.
to look like that.
Oh yeah, making all
Well,
kinds of
Zac
games.
Efron just was interviewed by TMZ saying that he will never get back into Baywatch shape again.
Oof.
That it
'Cause-
was way too much work.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Alan's like, I'm not talking about just passive playing. I am talking about grinding, which is where the conversation started. It's journey with a goal to
Well-
exercise. You started the point off with to lose weight to get more fit. Those are goals, Ken. Yeah, true. And Sora says the same can be said about seeking God. Sometimes can feel like a grind.
Yeah, it feels like a grind to me. I kind of relate to that
Sometimes it's
statement.
true. Yeah. I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Well, the point of exercising is to be healthy
Yeah. Right.
I
that's
mean-
that's what Alan's trying to say too.
and to have a sustainable lifestyle as well. Because a lot of people will work out thinking, oh, once I lose this 5 pounds or 15 pounds or whatever, then I can go back to eating cake and ice cream. And it's like, no, dude, you have to make it it has to be your new lifestyle. This is how you're going to eat. This is how you're going to drink. This is how you're going to exercise for the remainder of your healthy years of life that you have left.
Unless that
Yeah.
cake and ice cream was made out of broccoli.
I mean, I love broccoli, dude. So that's great for me.
All right,
Touche.
I'm going to pause for a minute on this topic because several things that Alan had commented before, and he's accusing me of hashtag censorship, hashtag this is America, hashtag shill. Okay,
Huh?
you will be taking
Well-
a lot of time off after everyone realizes you have been building tubes of Babel. There, Alan, I finally said it. Okay, there you go. You got it good.
Tubes of
Right.
battle.
Airplanes, okay? Because he's talking about the Tower of Babel was building it up to reach God,
Oh,
and airplanes actually do reach gods or very high in the air, okay? All right. Alan says you guys are being unreasonably obstinate.
All right,
all
moving on.
All
Anyways.
right, okay.
yeah, let's just
Now
move on.
Sora is asking, "Hey, is Solomon wearing a crunchy hat?"
I am. It's a
Crunchyroll hat?
Crunchyroll. Yeah, I got it at Crunchyroll
That's it,
Expo
man.
last year.
And Alan's like, my comment, repeating his statement 30 minutes later, doesn't make any sense. Okay. And Solomon, but hey, he has one for you too, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, where was it? It was what was it? I know it's gonna be won't mean much now, okay? I was trying to hold back on talking about it later, okay? Where did it go? All right, where does it go? Where Solomon he made a comment about Solomon, okay? Solomon got kicked out of all of his high school dances because of how much he likes to grind.
You're such an idiot, Alan.
Sora's like, anime! My new friend Solomon. Yep. So if you never watched Sora Oblivion, he has a YouTube channel. He takes anime as a interesting way of tying into the scripture. So if you don't get a chance to watch it. It's very cool. One of them
That's interesting.
was a very good testimony of himself, and it was really cool. I'm not in anime, so some of the things were just like whoop, lost over me. But if you want to tie in anime with scripture, go to see his channel on YouTube. All right, we have right out of time. We will end the show. Go to after show. Let's see. Where's my notes? I call it logging off or Twitch no promo. All right, yeah, sure. You have a Twitch channel too. So Twitch, Sora has a Twitch channel also. He does most of his work there, but he does post YouTube channels. That's a good point. All right, logging off. Where can we find you, and what MMO are you playing, Solomon?
Whiskey and RPGs on YouTube. That's my baby right there. Posting 3 episodes, including this podcast, a week, where we talk about. Well, okay, so this is mainly about MMORPGs, which I love talking about, but on the other segments, I also extended out to other RPGs, JRPGs, online RPGs, co-op RPGs, stuff like that. So yeah, every episode's Tuesdays and Fridays, as well as this podcast, which will be uploaded every Sundays, if not maybe Monday, depending on how much I have to edit. You also find me at SolomonSK at Instagram, and yeah. Oh yeah, what MMO? I'm still playing Black Desert Online, and occasionally Star Wars: The Old Republic. Yeah.
You should try this game called
Elder Scrolls. Yeah,
I've heard it's free on Steam right now.
Right now, yeah. We'll see. I say that we'll see as if there might be a chance, but no, actually, yeah. I mean, you never know. We'll never know. I mean, I still got we're quarantined, so I got extra time. Right. So yeah.
Yeah. So watch Solomon's shows. I mean, there are a lot of good blogs and media out there for game content, but Solomon takes it down, pares it down, gives you what you need, shows some visuals for it. It's awesome. It's a great way, fast way to do what you need to do without having to go read it yourself. A lot of things that he talks about, I've seen in my Feedly scroll. I'm like, just show instead. Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Jazeel, where can we find you, and what MMOs are you playing?
Sir Jazeel on pretty much everything. Mostly, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter are like my go-tos. And like I said, like I've been saying the last few weeks, I am working on season 10 of the Master's Medal, which is AKA TMM Weekly. And I'm hoping to have the first episode of season 10 out probably in about a month. Got some things that I'm wanting to throw on the episodes that aren't quite ready yet. So other than that, yeah, I just been playing Elder Scrolls Online, and I love it. Having a lot of fun there. I've kind of stopped playing the other MMOs. I got rid of my subscription, as you know, from World of Warcraft, and I did get Black Desert Online, and I tinker with it every once in a while, but almost all of my attention's going to Elder Scrolls Online right now. So that's what I've been doing.
All right. If you're watching this channel, you know you can find me. I am here. You also can find me in God Mode Activated, our gaming community, Christian gaming community, where anyone's welcome. Our whole sole purpose is sharing the gospel, letting the world know about Jesus Christ. And also, we're gamers. Hey, we are like you. We may have a different thought process, or at least guys that like the eternity, which you want to share you with, okay? But you also can find me playing Elder Scrolls Online. Yes, I know every Tuesday you've seen me also play Champions Online, my friend not Fred. Okay, but right now my MMO game of choice is Elder Scrolls Online. You'll also find me tomorrow Sunday at 6:30 Pacific time. I do a show called Let's Pray, and I pray over whatever. Okay, Discords, anybody asks me, and it's also the official pre-show for Pastors After Dark. So find me on my channel at 6:30. I will raid the GMA Ministries Twitch channel once they finally go live, because how come pastors never go on? They're always late.
Hey, I'm not late.
All right, so not this one. Sorry, this one. Okay, so anyway, there you go. That's where you can find us. There we are. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Just need to drink
Thank you so
more.
much for the comments and discussion.
Yeah.
Alan, always a blast having you here. Thank you, Sora Oblivion, also. And yeah, so thanks so much. God bless you guys.
Cheers, guys. See you later. Thanks again.